Welcome to Pick Central. Today is Thursday, March 28th, Sweet 16 Day, and it's opening day for baseball. And as always, we are presented by DraftKings. Shout out DraftKings. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, is giving new customers a shot to turn $5 and $150 instantly in bonus bets with any college basketball bet. We got all the lines that we got. I mean, Clemson's plus 7.5 versus Arizona. We got UNC's -4 versus Alabama. Yukon's laying 11 versus San Diego State. What game am I forgetting that's late tonight? What's the other one am I forgetting? Go through all the lines for the people.
We got...
Why am I forgetting the fourth game?
You say Alabama?
Illinois, Iowa State. Illinois is +2 at Iowa State. Might be 1.5 now. But shout out, like I said, UNC -4, probably my favorite bet of the night. North Carolina listeners, don't forget DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in your state. If you're feeling frisky, feel like betting the Tar Heels, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PICKSCENTRAL, PICKSCENTRAL. New customers bet $5, get $150 instantly in bonus bets only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code PICKSCENTRAL. The crown is yours.
Why so big on UNC tonight?
I just don't think Bama's. They play no defense.
Well, they scored.
It's two things. Bama plays no defense, and they specifically play no defense on the interior. They have no real big man.
But they score the most points in the NCAA, and they're our guys' team.
Whose guy?
I mean, we have an in. We have an in with Nate Oates.
Well, Bosco. Well, there's a man named Rico Bosco has an in. I have no in.
Well, no, the royal we, the collective I.
I just want to make it on record. I'm anti-murder, bad things, and I'm against wrong place, wrong time, brush things under the rug.
Alabama's previous game, Grand Canyon, who was my team in the bracket busters, that wasn't a basketball game.
Yeah, it was bad on both ends.
That was not basketball. You show that to James Naismith, I don't know what he thinks.
Yeah, that was a weird game for sure. Another one I thought Grand Canyon probably should have won the game.
Well, I mean, you go 2 for 27 from 3 and Canyon
like almost win
and still almost win. I mean, it might be an issue, but just the amount of that was football. That wasn't basketball.
They let the boys play.
They let the boys play. There's still a shit ton of fouls. When you let them play and there's still a shit ton of fouls, I'm not sure if that's basketball.
That's why in college it gets tough because if you let the boys play a little bit, they'll play.
It was entertaining.
They'll get physical.
It was entertaining for sure. The under hit by about 80 points, but it was still an entertaining basketball game. And shout out for Grand Canyon for showing it up. But yes, I do agree with you with UNC.
Yeah, I just think Baycott's such a dominant force. It's crazy he's been there for so long too. He literally was a staple on the Final Four team that feels like I guess it doesn't feel like forever ago, but it's a couple of years ago now. I think obviously a very good chance to go back. I think they win tonight. I think they win. I'm not like dominant. I'll say comfortably. I think they win like 10, 12 points.
Also, just Baycott was on UNC when Roy Williams was still the coach. If that puts it in perspective.
He's been there forever.
Is that the game you're most excited for?
Yeah, probably probably stylistically, like it would be the fun. I think Clemson, Arizona should be pretty fun as well, like style-wise. It's the high total. It's like 152, 151.5. I mean, the UNC BAM one's like 170, like 4 or something like that.
173.5, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely high, but that's just the way Bama plays. They can shoot the shit of the ball. They run it. They want to run threes and free throws, and they just play no defense. I just think a team like UNC will just carve them up.
Both these teams run.
Yeah, and UNC plays they play fast paced, but they play more defense for sure. And like I said, they just don't have Bama just doesn't have a big man that could guard Baycott. And I just think that's going to be – and they've gotten eaten alive by centers like all year.
Okay.
Like if you have a dominant big man, that's been a problem for Bama, and I think it's going to – you're playing like one of the better ones on one of the best teams, and I think it's going to be a big problem for them.
Or if they don't miss a 3.
Yeah, that's –
Well, that's the one thing. Bama is capable – they can always just get incredibly hot, but I feel like even in a lot of those games, if the other team – UNC is going to get a lot of good looks. I'd be shocked if they didn't.
I'm with you. I looking at it blindly, wanted to take UNC, but – there's way too many people for me on UNC right now that I'm like, I have to take Bama. It's not like I really want to. I have to. And I'm talking myself into these scenarios. Like, I do think that Alabama is tougher than a Duke team, where I think that they could pull out Baycott, and maybe you're hoping Grant Nelson can like beat him off the dribble, and play a little small ball, and that's how you beat them. Just go like 5 wide. I mean, again, they have the Miami in them where they just don't miss. They just don't miss.
Well, for sure, but and listen, they're one of the teams that could exploit it probably more than most because they do have good 3-point shooters. But I just feel like a team like UNC with the veteran experience, with the size, with the physicality, I just think that should rule the game. I think, but I mean, I would say we'll obviously do some baseball stuff too, but we'll start with March Madness, the most important.
I have a March Madness question for you guys.
Please.
Which underdog do you think has the best chance of winning tonight?
So I'll leave out Illinois Iowa State because it's literally like a 1.5 point spread.
Right. Okay.
People might say I'm crazy for this. I really think it's Clemson. I think if you're picking on the 3 other games, because I bet Illinois, so they're technically an underdog at +2. They're +1.5 right now, so it's not really like
Clemson money line +250.
I think they have the best chance to win just because I'm not a huge believer in Arizona. They're a team that likes to run too. I think Clemson plays better defense than them. They're very good at stopping transition, which I think is something that Arizona will want to do. I think guys like Caleb Love's really good. He's their guard, really good scorer. I think he will get his. He's performed well in the Big. He was also coincidentally on that UNC team I was just talking about. They made the Final Four. Their 2 best players on that team were literally like Baycott and Caleb Love. And now it's funny they're both on. Baycott's still there now. Love's on Arizona, but I think he will get his. But I just think Clemson does a lot of things well, and even the last against Baylor, even though I do think Baylor's more talented than them, and I stand by that. Clemson did a lot of good things to like make it tough on them, even though like Baylor did miss a lot of shots. And I just think, and they even were in like PJ Hull is probably their best player. Second, Chase Hunter's been great, one of their guards, but PJ Hull is probably like their best, most consistent player. And he was in foul trouble. He barely played, and they still won without him. So I mean, they've showed they can win a lot of different ways. So I just don't think Arizona. A combination of Clemson, I think, is rolling right now, very well coached, and I just don't think Arizona is as good as people maybe think they are.
Okay.
So I guess my long-winded answer is Clemson.
You think San Diego State has any chance at all?
No,
Yes.
not really.
Ooh.
Oh, dude.
You think really?
Not
Dukes.
really.
Why?
I just think that their defense is good enough, like, to make like if they played their tempo. I mean, the thing with Yukon plays very slow as well, so it's like Yukon's a way better team, but I do think there's the off chance that like you play good enough defense, you stick around a little bit. Like I like them in the number. Like, I think this is gonna be a closer game than people realize.
So I'm as of right now, I'm not on this. I took the under. I really like the under because of what Dukes. They both want to go slow. I like clinging over points because someone like diving into a little more. They're San Diego State's they're very good defending the perimeter. They're not nearly as good as they usually are defending inside. And even though Ledee probably is their best player, that's still like a mismatch. That's a good mismatch for UConn. Klingon's just so much physically bigger, stronger, better rebounder. I think that's a match. I took over 13.5 points. But I like the under the best probably in that game. I didn't take a side because I have a big future on UConn that I took before the tournament, so I'm kind of like just riding that out.
Yeah.
But
12-point spreads so much in this.
I also think that the
round.
San Diego State offense is better this year than they were last year.
they probably are. That's probably true. I mean, they're really
I
like
also
San Diego
think
State's
UConn's
good.
better than
I just for me, it's more just UConn. I just think
UConn's
is
that good.
They would have to just lay such a gross egg to lose this game, and they just really haven't done that all year. Like when they've lost, it's been the other team just going bananas from three. Like that's really how you have to beat them. And I just don't think San Diego State can do that to that level.
I'm also probably more comfortable betting against UConn because I've had a future on them since like the beginning. So it's like easier for me to like hedge this. Like
It's like a hedge, like middle spot
I'm just,
almost
I don't
kind
really
of.
care what happens. Like I do think San Diego State's good enough to keep it in the number. Like, do I really deep to my bones think that they're gonna win? No, but I do think there's a shot.
I mean, they could cover for
Like,
sure.
You muck this game up a little bit. Like if UConn just like doesn't hit their shots from deep, like. I mean, they did it last year, but I don't know. I think that this is it's a way harder game than UConn.
For sure. I mean, even just a Northwestern. I don't think it's Northwestern as good as San Diego State. They shot 2 for 20 or 2 for 23, something like that against Northwestern. Won by 17. It was never a game, and it was only 17 because Northwestern went on a run at the end when they were down like 30.
Yeah.
It was like they shot horribly. Their worst shooting game of the season. Win easily.
I'm
Like
rooting
they're
for-
just so dominant.
But my favorite underdog is Bama. Like, the more that I'm thinking about it, I do think that, like, if you're trying to run up and down with Bama and you're trying to, like, play, like, their style, their speed, I think Bama is better at playing that style than most people.
But I just think UConn does it in a very like different way.
Alabama.
No, I'm saying like I said
UNC,
UConn. I meant to say
yeah.
UNC, North Carolina. I think North Carolina does it in a very different way, just because they have more like more physicality, more like like at least size and size. Like I've mentioned a few times.
You don't want to get physical with Alabama, Ev.
Yeah, they might. They
might-
got shooters.
Yeah, they
they got
Honestly,
shooters running on offense.
yeah, absolute killers. Like when it comes
Yeah.
down to the biggest moment, like of the season, like
No,
distributors.
they'll shoot their shot. Yeah.
cold blooded.
Yep. No emotion.
Yeah, look you dead in the eye, headshot.
Maybe even if there's a father on the other team, doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't matter to them.
I'm rooting for UConn because we have Dave has a future on UConn. Dukes has a future on UConn. I'd like to see both those guys win.
So does Ev.
Yeah, so
So is Ev.
I'll go fuck myself.
I'd like to see you win, Ev.
Thank you.
Three out of my
Phil.
4 futures are alive: UConn, UNC, and Houston. All,
Wait, you took all those?
I took and Dayton.
Did you get them at or what time did you?
December?
Okay, no, that's fine. Because I'll admit it, my UConn one's like 4-1. I took
Yeah.
it. It was actually I literally took it like 4 days before Dave did, like 4 or 5 days before Dave did. And just before the tournament, I just sat there and I was literally trying because I talked myself like into like Florida and Baylor, and I finally was going to like put them in, and I'm like, they're not gonna fucking win. I'm like, they could maybe make a run. They both did not, obviously. But
Yeah.
I was like, they're not gonna win. And I sat there and I was like, everyone's asked me. I'm telling them like it was really what triggered me. I had a friend that texted me that doesn't watch me. He's like, who do you think's gonna win? And I was like, it's chalk, but UConn's gonna fucking win. And I was looking at him like 4-1. I'm like, even at 4-1, I'm like, I've said a record a million times. Like, I'd be shocked if they're not in the Final Four at worst. I'm like, if I really believe this much in this team, like, and I fired like a pretty sizable bullet on the 4-1.
Bosco got a lot of shit for this the other year when he was like talking about Gonzaga, Baylor being like the most highly anticipated matchup like of the decade, which I still somewhat agree with. Like just the names don't do it, but like
For like hardcores,
for
it was like a
hardcores,
good year. Yeah.
But this does feel like one of those years where it's just like you could just write UConn and Houston to the Final Four, like, and just like you'd be like, that's a safe bet. Like, I do think they're destined to match up.
Yeah, I hope they do. I really hope they do. I just feel stronger in UConn getting there, like for sure, than Houston, because I do think Houston's gonna win. I do think Duke will be a tough game. I think potentially Marquette could potentially be a tough game if they win. And especially if Tennessee makes it out that one bracket, Tennessee I think would be like a really like a fun matchup. That's a tough game for them too.
Well, don't say that. I got a future on Creighton.
It's alive.
It's definitely alive. I do love Tennessee tomorrow night, but we'll save that for tomorrow. I would say in the other games, in Illinois, Iowa State, I'm curious how you feel about this, Dukes. I like Illinois. I feel like they've kind of been a team. I've been fading. The last few games hasn't worked out, obviously, but they've won big. I mean, the way they're playing right now with Terrence Shannon, and he's going to be the best player on the floor tonight, and I think I'm kind of just riding with that and basically how hot a team they've been. It's kind of contrasting because Illinois wants to run, they want to go fast, they want to score a lot, they give up a lot of easy baskets. Iowa State's one of the best defenses in the country. But I don't know if they can hang. I don't know if they're able to get some shots off, and they're able to run. I don't know if Iowa State can like keep up with them. Like they're gonna have to really like play at their pace, like really slow it down.
I'm more on the Iowa State train. I am looking at that game as though maybe it's just Illinois because it's kind of the same thing. Why I'm taking Bama, but I do always like when an elite defense plays an elite offense, and the elite offense has a weak defense, which is Illinois.
It's true. That's true.
Like
I would
it does.
agree.
I will always take the Iowa State in that situation because I do think that Iowa State will get easier buckets than you kind of realize, and they'll make Illinois' life hell. So off that alone, I'm gonna take Iowa State.
No, I don't blame. Because I usually like your philosophy. I like agree with, and I usually would be there like most times. I guess when I kind of just looked at this spot specifically, Iowa State's been weird because they have been really good, but I just think they're just very beatable, I think. And I just think Illinois, I'm willing to I just don't know if there's the way Terrence Shannon is playing right now. I just don't know if there's like anyone in the country right now that could really just like check him. And the way he's been just going off and just carrying them with some of these other guys, like the other big guy's been getting in the mix. 42, he's like Danger, whatever his name is. He's been really good. Domesk has been really good. They got a lot. They have a lot of guys that can score, but I just believe in Terrence Shannon that like he's gonna be able to get his. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna try to defend it, but I'm betting on Illinois. But I'll say touch on that. I'll give the final card at the end. We'll get into some baseball too. Obviously, opening day. Got some day action. I know my people love the day action. I love the day action. What I know Rico's not here. We're talking about every day for baseball. We'll give kind of like a best bet, a dog of the day, and obviously any other picks you like. I'll let Clemmer. What do you like?
I have two basically best bets of the day, if you will. I really go the Astros over 4.5 runs today, and it's more against Nestor Cortez. Nestor Cortez is a 10 over 10 ERA at Minute Maid Park. He's had a 5.5 ERA on the road last year. He's struggled in spring training if you look at those kind of things. At the end of the day, Nestor Cortez against the Astros has been terrible. I don't know what that camera view is, but it's interesting. It's a good view. It's a good angle there of the curtain. And the other one I really like is Brayan Bello under 15.5 outs. I think that Bello, the idea of him going into the 6th inning against Seattle in Seattle, I think that Boston has a full bullpen. Obviously, every team does opening day. I don't know they're going to let him get outs in the 6th inning. I don't see that very possible either. So those are the two bets I like the most.
Any sides you like it all today? Sides?
Yeah, I said about yesterday about Cleveland, the Guardians,
okay.
With the run line. It's playing the A's. They got Shane Bieber on the mound, one of the best pitchers in baseball. Alex Wood, washed up guy for the A's. It's in Oakland. So the Guardians will get those full 9 innings. So I like the run line there. It's plus 114.
What about you, Smitty?
With Shane Bieber, I think he comes out and absolutely just shoves against the A's. So right now, plus 6.5 strikeouts on the DraftKings Sportsbook is plus money for Shane Bieber. I think he absolutely covers that. Screwball, our Cy Young pick for AL, he's in the same sort of boat. He's on the road in Chicago against the White Sox. But I mean, what do the White Sox have to live for? What do they have to play for?
I actually was
disgusting.
We're in a bad division.
I was reading White Sox Dave tweets before, and I almost was because I know he's like a true like a through and through like baseball's his number one sport, and he's watched like basically like what do I have to like?
Yeah, he detests.
For
He
today?
detests today.
The only thing that team has going for it is the division they're in.
That's
other than that,
what a helpless place to be in.
They're starting a guy.
And I felt like that. Like the Giants are like for me like the last like few, not like last year because we had some hope to play up, but like before they made the playoffs 2 years ago, like some of those seasons were like Shermer and all were truly like, and Joe Judge as well, like just truly like disgusting, agonizing. There's nothing worse than just knowing your team's gonna be horrible.
Awful. The White Sox, they're starting a pitcher today who's never made a major league start in his life.
He's a good pitcher though.
Crotchet, he's a good reliever.
He's a good lefty.
Yeah.
He's a hard throwing lefty.
It's Garrett
But we'll
Crochet,
see.
not Crotchet.
He's Crotchet.
Crochet.
But take
Very
Scoop.
French of you, me.
Yes, Scooble starting out hot for his Cy Young campaign. 6.5 strikeouts as well. Also like a couple dogs today. The Red Sox at the Mariners plus 136. I think they pull it out as well. Or no dog. The over in the Reds Nationals I like a lot. It started at I think 8.5. It's up to 9.5 now. Minus 105. Nationals are just pesky. Like they'll find a way to get 4 runs today, and the Reds I think they just come out like gangbusters.
Even as a Reds guy, Josiah Gray is good too.
He is good.
Solid.
He is good. And
Solid.
He's solid.
He
They have 2 solid pitchers, Mackenzie Gore and Gray.
His second half of last year was very impressive. The Nationals are on the right track, but he's not pitching more than 5 innings today, I think.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati too is a hitter's ballpark.
Yeah.
For Smitty's point, and Montes, you just don't know what you're gonna get. He could go out there and throw 6 innings of 1-run baseball today, or he could get knocked around and out by the 3rd inning. I don't know.
Why is Hunter Green not getting the ball game 1?
It's a good question. I don't know.
I was kind of when I was looking at it this morning. That was the first thought.
I'd say experience.
I was
Why is
Montes
Green
is
not
like
starting?
right.
a little bit more with the veteran.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. Opening day starter.
I just feel like he pitched. I know he had obviously a lot of strikeouts. He had gave up some homers and stuff like that. But I thought he was good enough.
I mean, Andrew Abbott was better than him. Why isn't he getting a start? So,
There, it was one of those Montes. There's multiple guys you could say probably. I was kind of surprised looking. I was like, what?
I was surprised
Montes
as well.
Starting game 1.
Yeah.
It was weird, but especially a season where you have Reds fans have got to be like very excited for this season. I would imagine.
It should be. I mean, obviously losing Matt McClain is huge. He was the best player last year. But there's still a lot of Ellie De La Cruz. He was horrible in the second half. He figured it out. He's been very good in spring training. Obviously, he's the most athletic player maybe in all of baseball.
Speaking English now.
I was going to bring that up. That video was very
impressive.
I know the U.S. fans will definitely appreciate that for sure.
I can't learn a foreign language if my life depended on it.
But his reasoning behind it, whether it's true or not, very impressive. He said,
"No, I think he was sincere.
Yeah,
he came off sincere.
Yes, he did.
He came out and said, "Hey, I want to be able to understand the fans. I want the fans to be able to understand me. Simple as that." It's not like you speak in ancient Latin,
of course,
or Greek. Like you speak in Spanish. You could probably figure it out pretty reasonably.
I couldn't. When I was in high school, I couldn't go from English to Spanish. I got a B-. So
I think it just says a lot about who he is as a person. That he like. Not even just like the sincerity with the fans, but I think even just being smart, like realizing I'm a young player that has a lot of star power, a lot of potential, and if I want to become like this huge star that I'm assuming he attains to be, I mean, speaking English is definitely a big plus.
And he has the potential to do it. He has as much athletic ability as anyone I've ever seen play the game.
One other play that I'd like today, pitching wise, Miles Molakis. Under
Michaelis.
Whatever.
All right, Meek.
Yeah, Meek Phil's got to be like, he
relax.
has.
We all know you know a lot about baseball.
It,
Meek. Relax.
We get it.
You're not a fucking English major. You know the fucking baseball reference names.
No, I just hear the announcer say it.
Under 3.5 strikeouts. Minus 105.
It's strike out.
Yeah, strike.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
So is that more about the Dodgers or more about Mikolas?
Both.
That Cardinals team is old as dirt.
I think the Dodgers at home today come out and just lay it on them.
Yeah, you got to take Dodgers run line today.
I also like that over under of 8.5 in that game. Take the over there just because the Dodgers offense is just frightening. We saw it in South Korea. That Dodgers offense can just explode on you.
I like the over in the Red Sox game. It's 7.5.
It's tough in Seattle. It's such a pitcher's ballpark, but you got to figure, and Castillo's so good. But I don't know. That Red Sox bullpen is not that great.
It's that mix. I'm not a big. You said is it Bello or
Bayo.
Go ahead, Meek.
It's Bayo.
No, I'm not going to correct you on that. I just have 2 home run plays. I want to say.
Go ahead, Meek. Say them for the people. Give us the home run plays.
Jose Altuve plus 400. He owns the Yankees. I think that's a good value play. And I can't speak either. Smitty, I'm gonna piggyback off you. I like Will Smith to hit a home run plus 500.
There you go. Contract bomb.
Yeah,
you don't think he's all fat and happy, Meek Phil?
No, I think he has more to prove.
Also, I want to we'll get into that a little bit too. The contract. I know, Clemmer. I saw your thoughts. Do you think it's you basically said you didn't love you thought it was good value now?
Yeah.
Didn't love the idea of having to pay him $14 million
when he's 40.
When he's 40.
For
I almost feel like this is like it's like sort of like a deferred, like you know what I'm
Part
getting
of it
at?
is deferred too.
Where it's kind of like it's 10 years, 140 million.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's almost in their brain, it's like it's like 7, like whatever, do the math, whatever, like
right, and almost like those last
20,
3 years,
like whatever it is, 7 for 20, whatever that, what what I'm saying.
What's $14 million going to be worth in like
10 years,
2034?
And in a sport where there's no cap,
right?
So it's like that money you're paying him. It was kind of when I first saw it. So your thoughts, I was like, obviously it's fair.
But here's
I was like, oh, but they're kind of paying him less now. Like they're gonna pay him more then, but kind of less now. So it's kind of like evens out, sort of. If you
but here's
you feel he's worth much more than $14 million right now.
Well, I do. Obviously, I do. He's worth more than 14 million. But here's the problem: is there is no cap, but there is a luxury tax. And if you're over it, and the Dodgers typically are, you're almost paying double. So it's not you're paying him $14 million when he's 40. You're probably going to pay him basically luxury tax wise $28 million.
Yeah, and the luxury tax, it goes in tiers, and if you reach a certain level, you get draft picks taken away or shot or moved down 10 spots, and it affects it
affects your whole organization.
It affects your ability to what's it called, Clemmer? When you scout
international slots,
yes, international.
Take away your slot money. And they also take away, like you said, draft picks. But having said that, though, the Dodgers need to be full. I like the contract, all in all. I just don't love the length of it. But if you said if you're kind of saying, hey, you're paying him $14 million now, when if you did it, as opposed to a 5-year, $100 million contract. So
Yeah, that was kind of the way I saw it right away. Like it was almost like giving him like a
instead of paying him $20 million,
7-year, $20 million. It was like
Right.
a 10-year for like kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, and I think that's how they're looking at it, which I completely understand. But there is ramifications, like somebody was saying, like with international slot money, draft picks. So there are, and obviously just the amount of money you're paying into the cap. But
in baseball, is there? Well, see, there's no real like. It's so different than football in terms of the pay structure.
yes,
And obviously the contracts they're like guaranteed. They're like 100%
they
guaranteed.
are 100% guaranteed.
But are they outside of the deferring? Are they like ways to? Like I feel like I haven't heard about it, so I'm assuming no. But there's no ways really loophole that like those kind of things, are they?
Not
Like,
really. The loophole is they try to
like when football, obviously they change money to like guaranteed, but I would say all the money's guaranteed. So I
Guaranteed,
guess you
right.
can't really like shuffle. You can't really shuffle it around.
You can extend guys similar to football, where like, hey, we have a 2-year deal, and now we're going to add on 3 more years.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
You
Yeah,
might see
yeah.
that once in a while, but not a ton, because like I said, the risk is now the contract's guaranteed. But the thing now is the deferrals, because like, for instance, Ohtani, right? He's making like $70 or $60 million a year, whatever.
yeah.
But the actual luxury tax cost is $47 million, because so much of it's deferred. They bake that in. And it's like, all right, the value.
That's okay. That's a
So
good.
that's
what I
the
was looking
loophole.
for. Yeah.
So the same thing with this contract, by the way, with Will Smith. Some of it is deferred, so it's not the full $14 million against the cap. It's like say 12 and a half. I'm just totally ballparking here, but you know what I mean. So it's a little bit less. So that's the way the Dodgers get around it, and players are so happy to play in LA that they're willing to do that, which puts teams like say Pittsburgh or Minnesota, or maybe some less attractive spots at the disadvantage.
So you're saying with the deferred, so like an Ohtani, so the deferred money, they're even paying luxury tax on it now,
Right, $47 million.
even though he's not making that like this season.
Correct.
So they're approaching it like even still, say we'll just call it round to make it clean, like 60.
Right.
So they're still like basically basing it like he's making 60 a year, even if he's not getting like $60 million in cash like this season.
Correct, because the value of the contract with the deferrals, because the deferrals bring the value down, is they figured it out in their math to be $47 million a year.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Little. I like the intricacies of the stuff like that. So I'm gonna say the games I like today. I like the Rays a lot today.
I also like the Rays. Money line's a little pumped at -142, but I like him a lot. I think Eflin is a might not be a standard ace, but he's an ace.
I like the race too.
To me, I got
For
it's
today at least.
It's 142 now. I think I got 135 this morning. Yeah, I just think it's a big pitching edge. I'm not a Barrios guy either.
F1's also very good.
Yeah, I just think this is a big pitching edge at home. I'll gladly bet on the pitching edge. Yeah, so I like them, and I like the Giants today as well. It's like a pick 'em, so I guess it's technically not really like a dog of the day. When I took it yesterday, it was like, I think it last night, it was like plus like 100, so it was like sort of a dog. It's not like a flat pick 'em.
I like this pick a lot too, Ev.
But yeah, there's another one. Like I just really like the pitching matchup early in the
Yes.
season. I'll rely on like just I think if it's a good number considering the ratio of the starting pitching matchup and just believing in the bullpen as well. I really like the Logan Webb over Yu Darvish here. Obviously, I understand you can point to the Padres probably having like more pop in the lineup.
Maybe. I mean,
But
I mean, they did it.
the Giants did add some good. Giants added some good
and
pieces.
Chapman.
They added some good pieces. So I guess there's now like less of an
Logan
gap
Webb
is definitely low for sure.
Logan Webb is a better pitcher than Yu Darvish. That's
Without
just a
question.
fact.
Without question. And yeah, that's what I'm leading on. So the Giants and the Rays are what I like the most. I do like kind of like the Red Sox later. I said I like the over. I'm not opposed to even playing the Orioles on the run line if you're like me, you want the first game, you want to be in, get some action. Even on the run line.
What is the run line for the Orioles?
It's plus 115. They're at home.
What's the number? Is it 4.5?
What do you mean? No, the run line.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at total runs. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, run line. Yeah, minus 1.5. Plus
Orioles
114.
team total runs is over 4.5. It's plus 140.
I don't hate that either.
Yeah.
I don't hate that either.
Keep
at
in mind,
all.
Orioles last team to lose plus 700.
I also just
They have
think
the
this is
Angels. They have the sorry, go ahead.
just another one. Just big pitching match, and I also just think there's something to this on an opening day like this, where I think you have a fan. I don't know how much like people will care about this, but to me it means that on like an opening day like this, where I think you have a fan base that is ecstatic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think an energy in this ballpark.
Got a new owner yesterday.
A new
officially.
owner. Like there's an energy in the ballpark that I think is going to be just so like real, and you're going to be able to feel it in there. I mean, I'm seeing like our Orioles got RDT. He was at the bar at like 7 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
Like they're treating this like it's like for me like that's like Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah,
shit.
they got their ace.
We're at the bar at
Yeah,
5
they
a.m.
finally
Like
get their ace.
they got their real ace. Like they have such a phenomenal young core. So I just think there's palpable excitement around that fan base, around the stadium today in Baltimore.
I love that Orioles run line.
Give me the Orioles minus 1.5.
The Angels stink.
And that all mixed with the Angels are just horrific, and there's a just insane pitching matchup discrepancy.
For DK, there's an opening day bonus bet, often required. Get like an MLB bonus bet. So I'm wondering from you guys, just going around the room, Smitty, then Ev, then Clemmer, what would you use? What would your pick be for this bonus bet?
Well, I'll tell you what, Dukes. I did one. I did it, and I made it. Me personally on these, like I tried to hit a home run, no pun intended. I went with three. I went with I did a home run parlay, 3 legs. It's Adley Rutschman plus 750. This is kind of rare. I mean, I went with an Astros play. I went Yanier Diaz plus 450 and Jazz Chisholm plus 450. The total it's a bonus bet. It was a $20 bonus bet that pays over $5,000.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Plus 20. It's plus 25,612. Oh yeah, so pay $5,000. And also for the people I have, the hit parade. Me and Rico Bosco are back. Our opening day. Our guest today is Dave Portnoy. The Jazz Chisholm inspiration was from Dave. That's his pick in the hit parade. Mine is Aaron Judge. Bosco's was Josh Naylor, and it's plus 240. You can find it. Me and Bosco both put it in the Barstool Bets group under the social tab. You can find it there. But boys, before we wrap up, what are a name show? What would you boys put the bonus bet on today in the opening day? What are we thinking?
I like
Go ahead.
I like Kyle Tucker, a hitter home run today. It's plus 425. So I'm really high on the Astros today. I just think Nestor Cortez is lousy in Houston.
I'm putting all my picks in a parlay and adding Royals money line.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm doing a tradition unlike any other opening day because I'm going to watch it. Red Sox money line.
I like the Red Sox a lot tonight.
Even as a Red Sox hater, I like them today.
I do not at all.
It's an opening day tradition like any other. I watch one Red Sox game, and then I wait till July to see if they're good or not. And that depends how much baseball I watch that year.
Where I probably honestly give a quick run through, I'm on Clemson plus 7. I'm on PJ Hall over 22.5 points and rebounds. I'm on under 136 in Yukon San Diego State and Klingon over 13.5 points. I'm on Illinois plus 2. And I keep getting to 3 and then drawing a blank of forgetting and UNC minus 4, probably my favorite play of the night. Shout out to everyone watching, listening. Like the stream. Unnamed show is up right now. See you tomorrow to preview Friday's games.